Hey, there we go. We're live. All right, so before we get into things, I have a whole lot of new settings going on, so everyone make sure can you hear me okay? And Shuswaper, go ahead and say something to make sure they can hear you. Yeah, that's fancy. I've never had someone with such fancy paintings in the background. Oh, you can't hear him. Okay, hold on. Um, now
Perfect.
now let's see if we can hear him.
I can hear me.
You can hear you now. Got it. Sweet. Banana. Oh, everybody's using Noble's banana, right? By Bearded Shag. All right. So we are here Monday live with Shoe Swapper from formerly the Xbox Guild leader. Uh,
Yes, yes.
yes, we will get into that in a second. He has seen the light. He's come over to the dark side and joined the PC Master Race. So let's get right into
Say
the
that.
shoe. So you know how the show goes. We kind of start off with just some easy questions about yourself, stuff like
One
that.
sec.
Okay. Oh, hold on, folks. Oh, that's weird. My background
I
is.
can hear myself, and it's pretty unnerving.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna get distracting.
How's this?
Much better. All
Well,
right.
now I can hear myself in my headphones, but
Oh, oh
a little
well.
better than out in the world.
Yeah. No console shaming. No, not at all. We love our console players too. They're people. Just
They
joking.
are. They
Oh, they're
are.
they're people too. They have feelings. We won't insult anyone. There's no master race. It's all one unity under Elder Scrolls Online.
Do
So,
I need to watch the stream to make sure everyone behaves?
can you not see the chat? You're probably better off if you can't see the chat because usually Jeff's just in here trying to harass me. Bearded Chegg with the biddies off the bat. Look at that. All right, so let's get into this first part. So the first part's just kind of getting to know you a little bit, who you are, where you come from, stuff like that. Second part of the segment, we'll get into a little bit of your background of gaming, how you started, stuff like that, and then we'll get into the actual Elder Scrolls part of the stream here. So let's start off first with Shoe Swapper. What is your real name?
Shuswaper, man. I can't divulge that sort of information.
Oh man, we're already off the bat with no name. All right. Like I said before, if you're not comfortable saying any of the questions, that's fine. So you rather go by Shoe Swapper? That's fine. We'll do that. So where does the name Shoe Swapper come from?
Oh, that's cool, man. No, my real name it stays out. It stays out for sure.
What's the first name?
No, I said my real name stays out for sure.
Oh. So what about Shoe Swapper? What? How does that name? What's the origin of your name, Shoe
It's the
Swapper?
region I'm in British Columbia.
Really?
So, like the area I'm from is called the Shuswap. So,
Oh, I thought it was had to do
yeah.
something with swapping shoes around with people or something like
No, no,
that.
it's not that good.
All right, so I'm gonna take a wild guess and say you're probably from Canada because you said A earlier when we were doing sound checks. So
I did.
all right,
Yeah.
yeah, all right, another Canadian. We got plenty of those in the guild, that's for sure. And getting some more foreign people. We got Blood Eye from Australia. We have Bearded Shag from Serbia. We got people from around the world. I don't know who else is from where, but I know we got a lot of Canadians. So,
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Tech is not far from me. He's about 7 hours away.
oh, okay. So
In
then,
Canadian time, that's the road.
yeah. And then I think who's the other one? Spin is also from that area too, on the west
Oh, really?
coast. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
And
Kev Dewitt is also from the interior of British Columbia, believe it or not.
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
And then Jeff, he's actually in Washington. I know that.
Okay,
Uh,
that's pretty close.
yeah, so he's pretty close to the border. So, Yeah, that's awesome, man. So, what can you tell us about you that isn't gonna give away too much detail? Like, what do you do for hobbies?
Oh, it's okay. Well, hobbies I clearly
Oh, you're cutting out. What was
spend
that?
a, spend a lot of time doing that. But I do. I've got a young family. My daughters are 7 and 11,
Oh, okay.
so that keeps me busy. Um, kind of got two lives. I work out of home for about half the year, so it's a half the year I'm a hardcore gamer. The other half I'm very much a father instead. Right? It doesn't leave much time sometimes. So
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, I know
when I'm at home, playtime is a couple hours a night. But when I'm out of town, it's 8 hours a night.
that. Every chance you get, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I hear you. No, I had that kind of same thing where back when I was in the military, if I was at home, I spent a lot of time with my then fiance, newlywed wife. But whenever I was deployed away or anything, I would take my PlayStation 2 and I'd play that every chance I got, just because there wasn't really much else to do. So gaming was the best thing to go to in those times. Just kind of keep
Yeah, for
yourself
sure.
occupied.
A lot of military in ESO I've noticed. I would say like 60% of the people I've met
Oh, really?
have
Yeah.
been military. So
Yeah, I know. I know for sure. Spin was Navy in Canada, and Jeff, another one that was military too. So
yeah.
yeah, and we got a lot of people still serving community, like firefighters, police officers, paramedics. I mean, we got all
Mhm.
sorts of people here that do very interesting things. Are you allowed to talk about what you do for a living, or is that
Oh yeah, for sure, for
okay?
sure. So I work for a utility company.
Okay.
So yeah, gas utility. I
Oh,
also do emergency response, hit lines and CO calls, carbon monoxide and stuff like that. So
that's cool.
I'm on call right now. I may have to run
Okay.
if if I get a phone call, but
If you get a phone call, we'll just pick someone from the chat and have them come in until we finish out the episode. So
yeah, I got the laptop. I'll just put you on the dash and
there you go.
then
We'll
spot
go
you
for a ride along
connected
with
to the phone.
with Shuswaper. So let's go back to that. So hobbies. What kind of things do you do in your free time besides gaming? Do you got anything else that you do?
Um, yeah, that big into photography. Do quite a bit of photography.
Oh,
Mountain biking in the summertime. I coach cross country skiing in the winter.
oh, really?
So both my kids are pretty big into the Nordic skiing. So
Nice.
the older daughter races, and I coach the younger daughter every Saturday. So
Wow. I've never, ever, ever skied in my life. Never once. I I live in Arizona,
yeah,
so it's all desert, and I could go up north because there's a place called Snow Bowl in northern Arizona near Flagstaff, and it's a pretty
hmm
popular place. But I've never had the urge to actually go skiing or anything like that. It seems terrifying to me. Like I tried water skiing once before, and someone's like, "Oh yeah, if you know how to ski on snow, you can do water skiing." I'm like, "I've never done either." So I sucked at it and I fell down every single time we tried to water ski. So I was like, I don't think I'm gonna try snow skiing anytime soon. So
yes. Well, it's easier because you're in control. Water skiing, the boat's pulling you around.
yeah,
And you can ski, you can go as slow or fast as you want, but
yeah,
it's good for a family activity for sure.
yeah,
We do the cross country, so there's not the fun and downhill aspect of it, but you know,
yeah.
it's a pretty geeky thing.
Cash is telling me to plan on backup just in case. Cash, you're my backup just in case. So be ready. Oh man, yeah, that's pretty cool. So okay, so skiing and then you did what was the mountain biking? So do you,
Yeah, I do a lot of that. Do a
yeah,
lot of that.
is it like
Been a
serious
little
stuff?
slower this year. I broke 2 ribs last year on a fall, so yeah, yeah.
Yeah, got
I
to be careful with that
you know,
stuff.
getting old, man. Getting old.
Yes, it definitely takes its toll. You can't quite do the crazy stuff you did as a kid.
Yeah, 4 somersaults and you break ribs. You know, it's not.
When you
It's
were
not like
younger,
it
you
used
could
to
have
be.
done 20 and not broken a thing. So, oh man, that's awesome. So let's see, what else is there? So you live in Canada and you work for utility. So you work like half the year for the utility and then you get the rest of the year off. Is that how that works?
No, it's a like it's a pretty small town that I'm in right now, so there's only one employee in the town. And then I've got like a gas plant up, like a propane plant that I manage.
Hmm.
So I do anything that needs to be done as far as the distribution of propane. Should I
Oh,
go on? Is this
no, let's
boring
go.
enough for you?
I mean, everyone has their own interesting parts of the job. I mean, what's probably the most interesting thing that you've ever had to do with that? Like, you ever go into a
Well,
really
I
slow
deal with
spot?
big emergencies, right? Sometimes, so if someone breaks like a 6-inch line or whatever, I'm the guy that has to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and so in a town like that I'm in now, where it's super small, it's just me
Hmm.
and the fire department, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure when it's time to perform, but otherwise, it's pretty much I make my day up. You
Yeah.
know.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is one spark or anything, and boom, that's
Yeah, there's definitely certain safety precautions.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's working with a dangerous commodity, right? So
Oh yeah, definitely.
if I die in a fiery ball of flame, then I've asked for
Yeah, you got no one else to
it.
blame but yourself, right? Pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. All right, so let's segue in. Let's go into the next part. So let's talk about your gaming background. So, what was probably one of the first gaming systems you played on?
Commodore 64,
Oh yeah,
and
okay,
I
nice.
played the Summer Olympics extensively
Oh really?
with the joystick and the one button on the side.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I started off with the well, we had an Atari 2600, but then we also had the Commodore 64. And back in that day, that was actually something my dad bought for work. So not
Yeah,
only did he have the giant keyboard, but he had the giant 5-inch floppy drive that you could connect to it, and the modem where you had to take the phone and actually set it down on the thing
yeah,
and
yeah.
sit there with the rotary dial and dial into the network, stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah, back when there was billboards. Do you remember billboards where it was just like this empty space you could go to and you could just type to random people that set up the billboard? It's
yeah,
pretty
that's
come a
old
long way
school.
for sure.
Yeah, that's old school right there.
Uh,
Yeah, I used to love that too. The Commodore was my favorite thing because back then we had a nice color TV and we would hook that up and you had Commodore 64 in color. That was
ooh,
pretty sweet looking.
I never got the color.
Oh man, it was something to behold. That's where you got your real gateway into computer gaming was
Yeah,
Commodore 64 on a color TV. And then when you're sitting so close, you can actually see the red and the yellow and the
the
blue.
pixels.
Yeah. Good times, good times. So,
Yeah.
what was probably one of your first games that you played? It was what the
Well, beyond like actual game, it would have been. My parents weren't big into gaming, so there was no other. Well, a gaming computer didn't come into my life until I was able to buy it myself again. But Nintendo for sure, and
Zelda. Yes,
Zelda for
one of
sure.
one of
Played
the
a lot.
greatest
Played a lot of Zelda.
franchises. Yeah, Zelda was a great franchise, man. I mean, it's still good. I haven't really played anything past probably probably Super Nintendo was the last time I played a Zelda game. Just
Yeah, I
because
played the new one on the Switch,
I
and it's very nice looking graphics for Nintendo,
yeah
but it's kind of it's maybe at a younger audience perhaps.
yeah. What was it? Oh, I'm trying to think of did on the Nintendo the Wii. Did they ever have a Zelda game on the Wii? I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
they had like three different
Did
Wii
they?
Zeldas.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I had a Wii, but we hardly ever played it. We always played like the the standard game that came with it, with like the bowling and the tennis and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And then we bought some other games and we just never played the thing. It was, I don't know. We had it for years and I think we probably played it like a dozen times or something. So,
Yeah, yeah. Our kids like the Wii still to this day. They get on it every once in a while. And me and my wife play Mario Kart a bit together, and that's usually ends badly for one of us.
yeah. Then is it one of the new Mario Karts or is it the old school?
No, just on the Wii, but
Yeah.
before one, and also the new one on Wii, right? But that's the only video game she'll play. So
Yeah, yeah. Oh no,
when
yeah,
when she's feeling in the mood,
that's funny
we
when
hit that.
go ahead. Did I lose you? Oh, there we go.
Oh,
It froze up on my end for a second there. No, it's funny that you bring that up because that was actually one of the first things that me and my wife used to play together when we were first dating was the Mario Kart on the Nintendo 64. Like I would come over to her house and we'd be playing that for like hours sometimes. It was so much fun. So
yeah, yeah. It's a great game. Even to this day, to sit down and play it, it's super entertaining.
oh yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
yeah, yeah. Always so challenging too, getting past some of those tracks, trying to get the different skill levels and stuff like that. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
so much time
and there's
wasted.
we had an online component too, where you could race against people from around the world, but it was so hard. The login was terrible. Sometimes take 5 minutes to get yourself a match, right?
Yeah,
It was pretty neat.
yeah. So going back into the gaming stuff that you do, so what's probably your favorite kind of gaming genre? Like first person shooters, MMOs,
I'd say it's
sandbox.
it's Elder Scrolls in general. So just the high fantasy game I like, right?
Yeah,
Anything with magic in it, you know, dragons. There's no dragons in ESO anymore, but
no.
like I started playing Elder Scrolls on Morrowind when they first released on console, and I ventured outside of that. But yes, that's been my favorite
Yeah.
favorite thing to play for sure.
Do you ever play like trying to think of the name of the game? Was it Dragon Age?
Yeah, Dragon Age has a.
Yeah.
I I tried it, Dragon Age, and I tried Dark Souls as well, and Witcher. They're all good games, but there's just something about the combat in Elder Scrolls that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Just the control of it, right? Even like Mordor, Shadow of War, and stuff like that. I believe it's called the Lord of the Rings games. Just can't get into that type of like Batman Arkham City combat, right?
Yeah. So you never do you ever get into like any other kind of games or just like you stuck to fantasy? Like
Um, no, I mean Battlefield, war games. I don't mind a little bit
yeah.
now and then. Um,
It's
but
hard
to
to
be honest, I kind of got hooked on Elder Scrolls and never turned back. Right?
yeah. Well, that's the
Like I
hard
used to play a lot of Max Payne as
mhm.
well on PC. If you remember that game.
Oh yeah, I do actually.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you could fly through the air and freeze time and shoot as you went. And,
Yeah.
yeah, that was
Gosh.
good. Civilization. Oh God, I spent hours building worlds in that. I don't know if you remember Civ 3, but they gave you the like build disc where you could go in and you could use templates and build your own worlds and populate them as you seem fit, and then run them in their engine. And it was I spent hours building those stupid worlds.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, the Civilization line I never got into until Civ 5, but I played a lot of similar games like Age of Empire
Yeah.
and um, gosh, I don't remember the other one, but pretty similar to those. But yeah, when you're talking about the shooter games, so did you ever try out the old school close combat game, like the original? it wasn't like player versus player. It was you got these little guys that you're in control of, and you basically send them off into different directions, different missions.
No,
See,
no.
I miss that kind of shooter game. Those were pretty fun because they were strategy based games, and not so much PvP. Because now that you get into these the close combat and the no, it's not Command and Conquer. I'm thinking of it was the original close combat. Was it? But anyways, getting into like the Battlefield and the newer ones, stuff like that. Those things I
Yeah,
get so tired of so fast because you get the same people that are just like
yeah.
they're the professional gamers that just get in there and know exactly where to go, where to shoot, pop you as soon as you pop your head out. I'm like those things used to really really annoy me. Or
Yeah, it's the young thumbs, is what it is. It's
yeah,
some 16-year-old kid on the other end with super good reflexes, right?
oh yeah, yeah, and that's my son right
Oh,
now.
I
He
lost you.
plays. Uh oh.
Oh, there you
Okay. Yeah, that's my son right now. He's playing that game Fortnite, and man, just the crap he does in that game, like how fast he can build stuff and run around. And like
go.
I was
Yeah.
playing the game one time with him, and he's like, "Oh, there's a guy right over there." I'm like, "Over where?" He's like, "Right over there." I'm like, "I don't see anything." He's like, "Yeah, he's moving along." I'm like, "That little dot is a person, and you can see that." Oh man, I'm
I
getting
cheat on Star Wars Battlefront all the time. I'll get my 11-year-old daughter to sit beside me because she can pick people out on the screen,
yeah,
like before I even know they're there, right? You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
she'd be
exactly.
like, right over there. Just like, how do you see that, right?
They
So
must have a better field of vision than we do now.
yeah, yeah. Like they grew up on with screens and quick processing and stuff like that, right? Where for us, it's not. When I was 16 years old, I definitely wasn't gaming. Like I had to go to Blockbuster to rent a console for
Oh
the
yeah,
weekend to share with friends, right? Play
that's an
Turok Dinosaur Hunter for 36 hours straight.
yeah, that's another old school term. Yeah, having to rent your console at Blockbuster.
Yeah,
Man, there's a lot of age checks going on in this one.
there is. I'm not
uh,
40 yet though,
oh
so I
no,
think I
neither
got
am
it on
I.
cash, maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm not in my 40s yet, so I'm still young, I believe. Unless you're talking to April, then everybody's just really old. So.
That's true.
So let's real quick talk about the elephant in the room. So Shuswaper, uh, it's not in the painting, no. So Shuswaper helped us build up the Xbox Guild for Lore Seekers Guild through Xbox. So and just recently, he decided he wants to play on the PC. So he turned the reins over to one of the other guild leaders and has stepped down and is now in the PC Lore Seekers Guild. So what happened? I mean, where you have, I mean, I know the Xbox
Nothing really
community.
happened.
Yeah.
Like I really like, and the people that joined the Lore Seekers were a lot of my old gaming friends as well. I've known many of them for 4 or 5 years now, right?
Yeah.
It was more of just like a switch to PC than it had anything to do with Xbox in general.
Right.
Fair Girl is great. She's going to do a good job with the guild for sure,
Yeah.
100%. And I mean, I still own an Xbox. I'll pop in and out every now and then. But there's a lot of potential PC games that I really wanted to try out. Camelot Unchained, Crowfall. So I'm playing a little bit of Crowfall, but they're selling that game like in alpha right now, and it's just not really a full thing yet. Um, so really small community in the game is super. Like their targeting system isn't even set up proper yet.
Yeah.
You know, So it was more of a future move. And PC, I mean, it's a better quality gaming experience, I gotta say.
I'm glad you said that, and I didn't
Yeah.
have to. But no, that's fine. No, and I didn't. I wasn't saying like anything happened, but it's just that I think a lot of the people that are set in the Xbox and the PS4 are strictly that. They don't, go between. I know that we have actually a few members that float between both Xbox and PC or PS4 and PC. But it was like, I never understood why, some people were like, okay, I'm gonna play Elder Scrolls Online on my Xbox or PS4, but then I play other games on the PC. So I guess I don't get it because like I'm not really big into consoles anymore. The last one I really owned was the Wii, which we hardly ever played. We got an Xbox One now, but that's my son's, and I've only laid hands on it a couple times because I can't get used to the controller anymore. But it's just one of those things. Like I don't. It doesn't make any rhyme or reason to me. Like if someone has a console and a PC, how they choose which game they're going to play on what. And I know that there's some of them are
Could
pretty
be community or friends, right? Might
and I
have a lot
know
to do with it.
yeah, and I know one of the things is I don't know what's going on here, but my camera keeps like flickering between two different lighting effects here. There we go. One of the things I know is a factor in that is there are some titles on the Xbox not available for PC. There's some on PS4, some on PC, stuff like that. So that can make a decision, but
Yeah, the ability to mod has a lot to do with it. To like, I know Battlefield 1 is going through a lot of problems with people cheating and targeting systems, and
yeah,
same as Destiny, right? So PC kind of has that open factor, and I played around with that a lot on the Xbox, modding my controller and trying to make macros. And if you're curious, the quickest you could spam a skill in Elder Scrolls, I think, is about 250 milliseconds.
oh wow,
Yeah, so like really there's no point in modding or setting up a macro because the game can't handle the input fast enough for it, right?
right,
Um, so the ability to do that is on console, but not the same way as Xbox, right? So maybe you play your Xbox Battlefield because you don't like to deal with 100% headshots,
hmm
and then you could MMO on the PC for the broader experience of it.
yeah. And I think one of the other elements that I like about PC over the console ones is the add-ons that you can put on your PC version, and there's all sorts of stuff that I've put on mine just to try and enhance it and make it a little bit, well, sometimes a little bit easier, a little bit a little more information when you're actually in the battles and stuff like that. So, and I don't think Xbox doesn't have anything like that, does it?
No, they're adding add-ons to the game, like the combat numbers never used to exist before, and screenshot mode and stuff like that. But the lazy crafter, I did my first set of writs the other night, and I was just like, "That's it, just writ done."
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Lazy
Where in PC,
crafter.
you're like, or Xbox, you're in and you're out, and you're trying to remember, was that 8 helmets or 6 helmets? you
And
know.
you know what?
So
Before I had that add-on, I used to take screenshots of what my writ was and put it off to the side because I couldn't remember all that stuff. I'd read it and 2 seconds later I'm like, what the crap was it I was supposed to craft? But yeah, that's funny.
uh,
All right, so we got
yeah,
that out of the way. So yes, I think now who's the new guild leader? You said it a little while ago, right?
fair girl.
Fair girl. Okay, so
Like
I'll
fair gal,
yeah.
fair, not Farragle, the keep, like many people say, but
Oh really?
fair gal.
Yeah. All right. Well, I may have to talk to her and see how she'd like to come on as the new guild leader of the Xbox Guild.
Well, I think you should. I think you should. She'd be a good conversation.
Yeah.
A good gamer and just a sweet person all around.
Yeah.
I felt pretty good leaving that with her
Now,
because she's gonna do good.
when you guys play on the Xbox, do you use some kind of voice chat or?
Well, see, voice chat's built into the game
Oh, okay.
and never works, but that's that's besides the point.
Well,
So there's like Xbox chat where you can chat with a party outside of the game, and then there's in-game zone chat, which is always interesting.
yeah.
There's guild chat and chat, right? So it's their voice is way better, and I miss that. I miss being able to just hop into guild chat, and just hang out there, right? Which I do in Discord now, but
Yeah.
all you East Coasters are like bed by the time I really get going. So.
Well, I'm on West Coast and I'm on most of the time during the day, and I usually save the evenings for family. But if nothing's going
Yeah.
on, I'll jump in and hang out. But okay, that's cool. Yeah, because that's one of the things I always kind of wished we would have a little bit closer. Is I know Discord doesn't quite work with, is it Xbox or PS4? I can't remember.
I don't think they're fully integrated on any of them yet.
Okay.
Maybe they just released the Discord app, I believe,
Yeah.
on Xbox, but I'm not sure if the chat is functioning.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things that would have been cool is if we could have all like had everyone in one voice chat and be talking together and stuff like that. But I know it'd get confusing sometimes because we would have someone in there from Xbox and be like, "All right, we're gonna run a dungeon," and be like, "Yeah, I want to run." Oh, that's right, I'm on
Yeah.
Xbox. Dang. But
Well, there are plenty of games that are cross-platform.
yeah,
I'm not sure what's happening with that.
yeah, I know there. Someone said there was one day that Xbox and PS4 were playing together on the servers, and but was it Bethesda or Zoss? I don't remember who it was. Whoever hosted on the servers had said they had to take it down because they noticed that people like they noticed it because there were certain names that popped up that you couldn't use in one or the other. I
Hmm.
forget how they figured it out, and they're like, "Oh yeah, sorry, we had a mix up on the server or something switched on the server." So they have the ability to, but I think they just don't turn it on because maybe it's something the higher ups set not to turn on.
I don't think they have that ability. To be honest, Sony and Microsoft keep tight fists on the content that comes through those consoles, right? Which is why you don't see cross-platform games that are available on all three platforms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sony won't get on board with Microsoft to get on board with Windows to play the game completely cross-platform. You'll have PC, Xbox, and I believe you have PC, PlayStation that are like Fortnite. My daughter can
Yeah,
play her PC friends, right?
yeah, yeah.
So
That one's across all three platforms. I know that
is
because
that on PlayStation too?
yeah, because my son will
Yeah, there you
play
go.
with his friends on Xbox, and some of his friends had PS4, and now oh wait, maybe it's just PC and Xbox. Well, because yeah, they're both Microsoft. So that's one of the things I don't get is Microsoft owns Xbox, and if you're using Microsoft operating system, why wouldn't you be able to just
A guy
transfer?
should be able to transfer an account or right,
Right?
really.
I think we need to have deeper discussions about this some other time, but we'll get on with the rest of our show because we could probably talk about that for hours. All right, so let's get into the Elder Scrolls part of our segment here, which is let's first go into what was do you say Morrowind was your first Elder Scrolls game you played,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Did you try all the different Elder Scroll games, or was it just Morrowind into Elder Scrolls Online?
Oh no, all the way up from Morrowind, Oblivion, and then Skyrim, and
Oh
then
wow,
Skyrim again on Xbox One, and then Elder
man!
Scrolls
So
came
you
out.
know the whole lineage of Elder Scrolls,
Well, I don't know Daggerfall or Arena, right?
all right?
But I kind of miss sometimes the Morrowind style of play where like you don't really know where to go and there's risk in going into a delve. Like I miss that hard gameplay. I wish they would release a multi like an MMO for that style, like just super like Dark Souls MMO, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where like you're definitely going to want to wait outside for a buddy before you go in there. You know what I mean? Like just anybody to help you, right? Or to take aggro or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and
Um,
that's the thing I like about Elder Scrolls is that you really have the choice of, you know what, you don't want to hang out with anyone and you just want to quest on your own, go do it. You know, you can quest all you want. Are you getting paid? You got to run out. You know.
no,
Okay.
no, I think that was the personal phone.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
um,
yes.
so what was it? Yeah, they have that option in Elder Scrolls where you can choose what you want to do, and I love it because, there are definitely days I get on and I'm like, I gotta go, do some quest or something, or I'll go crafting, just something to kill time and keep my mind occupied. And then other times I'm like, okay, I really need to talk to someone. I need to, have some fun, have some laughs. So I'll jump in Discord and hang out with people doing battlegrounds or, dungeons, whatever. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, the diversity is pretty nice. I do a lot of solo play as well. Um, Pre lore seekers for sure. Once started lore seekers up, we definitely were doing a little bit more group, lower level content kind of thing, right? So,
Yeah.
which was enjoyable because it was a different aspect that I hadn't done in a while in the game, right? So, been playing ESO for a while, right? So
Right.
it's good to
So,
keep it fresh, which was part of the switch too, right? Is I got to switch and start all over again,
oh yeah,
you know, fresh, and it's kind of grindy of me, but I don't know. I've been enjoying it so far.
everything feels grindy after you've capped out at least one character, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like right now I'm going through, and I've made two PvP characters, and that's all I use them for is low level PvP. And then I have a new Dragonite that I just made, which is my one that I'm gonna take adventuring in areas that I never went to before. Because on my main, I did a lot of the beginner quest lines and stuff like that in the beginning areas, but I never really went through I never went through the Rift, which that's one area I wanted to get into. Trying to think of what was the other one I.
Well, Somerset with the Sigic Order is brilliant for that. So you can go and you can pick up your Sigic Order quest line
Mhm.
and all the little maps, and that'll take you to every zone in the world.
Yeah.
And you can close portals and do delves and pick up sky shards. And I thought that was a really nice touch because you could take a new character throughout the whole world. You know what I mean? With those portals, it's kind of neat.
Right. Right. How long have you been playing Elder Scrolls?
Since it came out on console, so that's 4 years now, a little over 4 years.
Okay. Yeah, see that's the thing is like I was talking to someone the other day where like I got into Elder Scrolls Online when it was in beta and I played for about 2 weeks. And then something else came out and I started playing that and I just got distracted with one game after another and some of the people I knew were like, "Oh yeah, you should try to come play Elder Scrolls and stuff." I'm like, I just don't want to buy another game right now. And then it was just 6 months ago that someone again told me like, "Oh, you should try Elder Scrolls Online," and I'm like, "All right, I'll try it out." So I just bought the base game, and then a week later, I had the ESO Plus membership and was like just all about trying to get my main Nightblade leveled up as quick as I could so I can jump into some of the stuff that everyone else was doing. But yeah, it's still all new to me. Like I love being able to go into some of these areas. I just still haven't done any real content or storyline, and it's
Mm-hmm.
still like a brand new game. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh man, I played like 4 years on console, and I think I'm at like maybe 45% completion or something like that.
Really, yeah,
Like I spent, the last 2 years were very PvP heavy, right? Which kind of cuts down on the questing, and I'm not particularly an achievement hunter, so I'm more of a gear guy. I love builds. I had one of each, one of every type. So magic, stamina of the Templar, Nightblade and Warden and Sork, and
yeah,
I just love builds and putting different armor sets together and trying out different play styles. Like that's what keeps me in the game is not necessarily the questing content, but the build aspect of the game. Like I just love it, trying different stuff and new stuff, and you know,
yeah.
it's why I play the game, and I haven't seen a game that's been able to offer that level of customization in your characters, really.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember when I was playing Star Wars: The Old Republic that when I think that was the first game I ever played that introduced me into your choices on your quest lines can make things change. Like you can go in a
Mm-hmm.
different direction, and they would go in a certain direction to an extent, but like with with Elder Scrolls Online, I love that even being a different class or a different race can sometimes affect your storyline experience. So I've gone through and I'm trying to create, a different race and a different class every single time I create a
Yeah.
new character. Just that way I can kind of see if there is differences in different places, stuff like that. So
Yeah, how was Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic? Like I played that for maybe I tried it for about a month,
yeah,
but
it
I couldn't sink my teeth in. Like, did they have pretty good customization on the builds? Like I remember that you had lots of like different attributes you could build into, but I never really got into the to like any sort of gear or anything like that. Like,
yeah. I think Star Wars: The Old Republic ended up being a lot like World of Warcraft, where you could get to a certain point, get a certain type of gear, and as far as spending your skill points and doing different things, yeah, you could make somewhat of a change and stuff like that. But just like with World of Warcraft, if you found a certain build that works perfect, then you were trying to just do that build. Because
mhm.
if you try to change it around too much, whereas I love how Elder Scrolls Online is, where I mean you could make a warden, and that warden can be a healer, a DPS, a tank, and either way it's pretty effective no matter which way you go. And you do have certain classes like Dragon Knight is kind of a tanky spec, so if you did that one you might take a
Mhm.
little bit better, but it's not going to be a huge difference between that and some of these other ones that you could do tank spec. And that's what I love is like you can pick your race, you can pick your class, and then you can pick what type of skill lines you want to do with it, and it'll be different between each one that you do. So that
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, it's got
I agree.
so much different degrees of enjoyment in this game. So let's get back into the questions here. So if you had to pick one race, what's your probably your favorite race in all of Elder Scrolls Online?
Khajiit,
That seems to be a
but
popular one.
most of my characters are dark elves.
Oh, really?
I said on the Discord the other. I wish they would like how Khajiit has the what is it 8% bonus on weapon crit.
Hmm.
Why couldn't it be weapon and spell crit? Just give it to me,
You
and then I
know,
could start to play around a little bit more with Khajiit on the magic side of things, right?
yeah,
You
and
know.
now that you say that, I've actually had that thought before, where when you're creating your certain characters and you pick your race because you get a certain bonus for whatever class you're building out. I wish they
Mhm.
would have done it to where you could pick your race, you could pick your class, and then you could pick what kind of attributes that class or that race has. And I know they're sticking to the lore of the game, where uh, certain races had certain types of, like orcs, for example. I mean, they were well known for being berserker type tanks for most fantasy games.
Mhm.
But I think it'd be interesting if they were to let, like, you can build an orc into something else, because my orc is a Stam Nightblade. But it would be interesting if you could pick that attribute to put it, into that orc, and say that, even though he is an orc, he specializes in magicka type abilities and get some kind of bonus for it or something. But I don't know, whatever. And that's the thing, is that thing, it does make a difference if you're doing specific builds to do end game content and PvP. But if you're just trying to have
Yeah.
fun, it's not going to make a huge difference. I
No,
mean,
it doesn't matter if you're just running normal dungeons and exploring the world, right? You could do that as you see fit. But
yeah.
my build OCD doesn't allow me to do that.
See, and I'm the opposite way. I just build whatever I feel like, and I just start with it, because I was actually building, what was it? I think I was building a Khajiit. I forget what it was. Oh, a Khajiit sorcerer. And then someone's
Yeah,
like, "Oh
yeah.
yeah, if you're gonna make a sorc, you should do this race." And I'm like, "I don't want to be that race." And my thing is like, there's some
Stamp
people
sword.
that, yeah, and there's some people that, when they start building out their stuff, they stick to one type of race. Like some people are really into Britons and Nords and whatever. And me, I go the opposite way. Like I like the unique character types, the orcs, Khajiits, the
Oh,
Argonians.
don't say it. Oh.
Uh, I just like the kind of odd man out type things. I've made some.
Everybody jumped on the Argonian boat, eh? Jeez. They weren't a thing, and then all of a sudden they were just everywhere,
You
chugging
gotta
their
try the
potions, those little
Argonian,
buggers.
man. They're fast swimmers. You gotta go jumping in the lake and swim around with them. All right, so let's get back here. We're having such a great conversation. I love this because we're just trailing off of what
Yeah,
I
it's okay.
normally do. But yeah, I love it because it's casual conversation. It's not meant to stick to a strict guideline. But so let's go into like the different classes. What's probably your favorite class to play in Elder Scrolls?
Nightblade,
Ah,
Nightblade,
yeah, good
without a
choice.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Wasn't always. I really like the Sork, and I really like the Templar,
So
but
with
um,
what type of Nightblade do you do though? Is it the siphoning type? Is it the
I don't know,
DPS?
all types.
Oh, really? Okay.
they all have their they all have their place for certain things. So my PC tune that I built is a Magic Nightblade, and it's Siphoner caster, right? So, but that'll change over. That guy will be my main. I'm not sure how if I'll create another character really. I'll stick with that guy for till I'm at least CP 300 probably, right? And but I'll be able to do trials with that guy, and I'll be able to take him into PvP and do melee magic PvP character, right? So
Yeah, I definitely want to try out the different types of Nightblades because I have mine that's a Stam Nightblade and he does dual wield and bow. And I absolutely love that mixture because not only can I get up close and fight with the bosses and stuff like that, but once when he starts casting out, and you have to get out of those fonts of power, as we call them, roll out of it, switch to my bow, and then I'm just still plugging away getting DPS on them. So I mean,
yeah,
it's my favorite class for sure. But I'm testing out
yeah, I
some of
enjoyed
these other
the
ones.
Stam Nightblade for PvE DPS for sure. I'd never done it until basically till like Somerset or just before Somerset, Morrowind maybe,
Yeah,
before I really changed the Stam Blade over to PvE, and then I loved it. I got the Requiem set on it, and it was phenomenal.
yeah. No, and that's uh,
Relic?
what's that?
I just I said the wrong word. It was Relicans. Relicans?
Reliquary?
Ah.
Yeah. I thought I was missing something. I'm like, what am I looking for?
No, not just
Looking at the painting. All right, there we go. Nice, the nice backdrop. I just switched to this green screen, and I hadn't used it before, and now it's driving me nuts that this whole entire stream, my colors keep flickering back and forth between it. So I'll have to figure that out later. But anyways, uh, so going back into the Elder Scrolls stuff, what was probably one of your favorite storylines to go through in Elder Scrolls Online?
I don't know.
That's always a tough question, I know.
Favorite storylines. I'm enjoying Somerset, the Sijic Order, especially. That skill line is fun to do.
Is it the
Um,
character that
oh,
the
I
skull?
love the little skull, man. It
Yeah,
cracks me up.
that guy is awesome.
Um, yeah. Besides that, I really enjoy the story kind of around Imperial City and those quests,
Hmm.
and then Cadwell's stuff, right? Like the Harborage, the very first storyline.
Yeah,
I've done that oh God, I've done that 15 times probably, right? So it's a good. I enjoyed that one too.
yeah, yeah. That's funny that we actually just talked about that the other day. I still don't have the Imperial expansion yet, so I don't even have the ability to play that
Well, you have
race.
ESO Plus, right?
Yeah, it doesn't give you it.
Yeah, it does.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, you can get into the area, but you can't choose the race, though.
No, you can't do the Imperial race.
Yeah.
No.
So that's
So
one
I
of the
made the
things.
mistake of sister or buying Imperial City, but like right after they no longer offered the race with it, and or like some error happened and I never got it. So I've never been able to make an Imperial. I don't know.
No,
Something went wrong and no Imperial for me.
I don't have it either. So one of these days I'll get around to it. But yeah, that was someone was telling me, "Oh yeah, just make an imperial." I'm like, "I can't. I don't have it." And they're like, "What?"
If you're gonna make an Imperial, you might as well just
Yeah.
make
Might as well just make an Argonian. It's the same thing.
part.
All right, so let's also get into like what's probably your favorite thing to do in Elder Scrolls? Do you like the PvP? Do you like doing dungeons, trials, questing,
Yeah, I'm a
crafting?
pretty hardcore ganker.
A gank? Oh, you like the
Eh,
PvP?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Did
like solo PvP on any sort of Nightblade. Um, just, just like the ability to harass, I really enjoy. I'm such a nice, polite Canadian in the real world, right? Like, sorry, ma'am, excuse me, so sorry.
so then you can let loose on the
So I really
gang. Like,
enjoy
I'm not
playing like that
sorry.
darker character, and I mean, I know. Shout out to Genghis and Xbox. I mean, we spent hours just stealthing around Cyrodiil and like just harassing Zergs, 15, 20 people, pulling them out, killing the odd one, ducking in and out. Like I like personally myself, I've kept groups of 15 like entertained for like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They were riding to the next keep and I killed one of their friends and then they had to find me, but then they can never find me. And it's so for me, I really enjoy that trolley aspect of the game. It's probably bad to say, but I enjoy it for
Oh,
sure.
that's hilarious that you love that.
That and dueling. I love dueling,
Oh,
right?
really?
No one in PC wants to duel me. I'm like, it's 80, just come duel. Waiting for a dolman, and it's just like rejection after rejection. I'm starting to get a complex about it. But
Yeah.
where Xbox seemed a little more free with its PvP play, right? Like Xbox, you asked somebody to duel, and it was like 50-50 whether you're going to get that duel
Yeah.
in. I love seeing how other people play and other play styles, and you know.
Yeah, no. It's if you want a duel, I know if you go outside of Wayrest, right where the
I don't want to duel the dueling builds because I don't have
oh,
a
okay.
dueling build,
Oh,
right?
you just want to
Just
duel
like it's
the
just my regular build,
I love seeing
whatever I'm
people
doing
just
at that.
I love when people just randomly come up to me and they challenge me to duel. I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, I'm trying to do something. What do you want?
Oh,
Just
just
out
duel
of
them, have a good time.
But that's the thing is like I'm not really big into dueling. I don't have like I have my PvP characters, but I don't even think in a one-on-one duel they would do pretty well. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I just do it on whatever character I'm on, right? It doesn't matter. But the guys that are sitting outside, like the way daunted, I mean, they've got dueling builds. They're there
Yeah.
to, so you can go there and get wrecked or, you know,
Mike, you just put
duel amongst the other 15 duelers, and you're just like, where is the person I'm supposed to be?
Mikey just said in chat, "Have a good time." He says, "I die in 5 seconds every time." That's pretty much what it is for me too. Is
Yeah,
like if
yeah.
I'm on my Nightblade, that thing is just PVE spec. It is not in any way. I tried taking that character in the PvP battles, so that way I could get the caltrops, and I would
Hmm.
get killed in just like 5 seconds every single time because he's not meant to take damage at all. He's just meant to sit back and deal it out, but not take it.
See, the Nightblade takes a lot of practice, right? Like it takes a lot of. You can be quite tanky in me, um, you know, but you got to switch your skills around, right? Like you got to lose your blade cloak, and you got to pick up the two hander and forward momentum or a rally and bigger.
Yeah.
It's they can be very tanky if played right. It just that's the hardest class as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So
It's definitely
now,
the Nightblade.
so you just recently switched over to the PC. So what? How high do you got your character already?
I got 100 last night.
Dude, you're already, man.
Yeah,
That was
I
quick.
was like 12:30 and I was at like 96 and I'm just like I can't go to bed
Yeah.
at night.
We're gonna have to
So
get
I
you.
went to bed at 1:30.
Yeah, we'll have to work on getting you leveled up so you can get in the trials groups too. So.
Yeah, I mean I'll be 160 next couple days, right?
Yeah, man.
And then I'll want to join that trial. You can carry. We carried an Xbox all
Oh
fieldies
yeah.
that we ran through there, like level 15 through Cloud Rest.
Oh yeah. No, and that's the thing
It's
is
pretty
like,
funny.
yeah, that first day we did trials, we had quite a few people that were under 160, and we still got through it just fine. And
Yeah,
it's not like a solid rule that you have to be 160 or above. I think the only thing that we were looking for was, if there's CP 160 characters that are ready to go, that's what we were looking
yeah,
for. Was let's get you guys used to it, stuff like that. But it almost seems like pretty soon we're gonna have to start making a second trials group because we're getting a lot of interest in the first one, and Blood Eye has been rocking getting us through all these trials. Teaching all the mechanics and everything. So
yeah.
yeah, I can't wait to actually step it up and maybe play a slightly more difficult trial maybe one of these times. Hint, hint, Blood Eye. I know she's in the chat right now, so let, let's step up the
Yeah,
difficulty.
I mean, you could run a second night too, right?
Yeah.
In the week,
Oh yeah.
because then if you spread it out over like a Thursday or a Saturday kind of deal, then you tend to split your people's time too, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is I'm sure there's enough people that would be interested in running not just one but two a week, so we could have some crossover between
Yeah,
the two groups. If you're not available for Saturday nights, here's another night of the week we can do it too. So I don't know.
yeah.
We'll
Your
see.
color does keep flipping around.
Yeah, I know.
A
and
strobe going.
and I had it set up really nice, and I think actually what it is because all my stuff for the webcam is set up through Streamlabs, and the only thing that isn't set up with my webcam through Streamlabs is this broadcast because I do it through Discord. So I don't think
Hmm.
Discord is taking the settings that I have and just locking it down. I think it's trying to do the auto balance and all that stuff in the background. So yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's all right.
yeah, there we go again.
The beard looks fabulous, so
Yeah.
you're good.
I actually really combed it out this morning. It's nice and straight and looks
Yeah, I'm
long.
very jealous. I had a beard
Oh,
or a goatee, anyways, quite a long goatee actually.
oh
And
yeah.
when I moved over to the jobs, I have to be clean shaven where my respirator meets the face. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and
definitely.
I have a little tiny head. You can't tell on stream, but this is a iPhone 3.
That's hilarious. That's awesome, man. All right. Well, you know what? It's about 6 o'clock. I need to jump off here soon. So I really appreciate you coming on the show and hanging out with me.
Not a problem.
It's fun getting to know you a
It
lot
was
more.
great. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
I love it. All right. Well, we'll have to get into the deep discussions of why Microsoft doesn't allow Xbox and PC when they could just override and overtake PS4 if they did that.
Or you could sell two copies of the same game to chumps like me. Yeah, it works too.
So greedy. They're so greedy. All right, man. Well, take care. I appreciate
All
it
right, Orcas.
again. Have a good night. Thanks, everyone, for
Yeah,
tuning
for
in.
sure.
Uh,
Thanks, man.
all right, take care. I am going to set something up here to. Let's go raid someone. Who's on right now? Oh, there's not a lot of people streaming Elder Scrolls Online right now. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to switch here. And we're going to find someone to raid. Chegg, if you got someone, shout it out. Oh, Home Cleric is on. Let's do that one. All right, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in. I love this segment every single time. Every time I have someone new on, there's always something very interesting to learn. And it's just a whole lot of fun sitting here and chatting with them, getting to know them outside of just the normal day-to-day gameplay. You know, we get into these small conversations here and there talking about real life stuff, but it's nice to just sit back and get to know folks this way. So and I love everyone that's coming in here chatting in the chat along with the show. I unfortunately wasn't reading too much of it, so let me go back through a little bit. Did I miss anything important? Probably not. Okay. Thanks a lot, Blood. I appreciate the comment. And also during the show, I don't typically do the shout outs or anything, but let me go back through and just say thank you to Iwi Live. Thank you for the follow. Bearded Chegg, thanks for the bits. And I am going to send us over to Home Cleric. We're going to be raiding his channel. I just heard the thing. So we must have someone new. Arrow, man. 500 bits? Freaking awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, buddy. Oh, it looks like Lotus too? Gosh, guys, you guys are so cool. I love it. That's so freaking awesome. Thank you so much for the bits. Thank you for coming out and supporting me. And tune in next week when we have Jeff, and it's going to be crazy, crazy, crazy. See you guys.